Like recently I matched with a doctor on a dating app, and I was just like, I said, what do you do? He's like, I'm a doctor, and he was just like, I was like, okay, so what's your goals? He was just like, oh no, I kind of blocked you because like, what do you mean what's my goals? Is a doctor not enough? I don't want somebody who's content with where they are. A doctor is being a doctor is amazing. I understand what you guys go through to get there, but why can't you want more?
What's up guys, and welcome back to the channel. In today's video, I'll be reacting to a Kendra G clip in which a super ambitious woman claims that dating a doctor isn't enough for her and she needs more. I thought this one was absolutely crazy and her demands were in the clouds. But without wasting any time, let's get into the mess.
Alexis, where you calling us from?
Washington D.C.
DC. I had so much fun in DC, child. How old are you, Alexis?
28.
28. What you do for a living?
I have 3 jobs. So my main job is I'm a cloud professional.
A
Then I
what?
also a cloud professional, so I'm in tech.
Okay.
I also work as a waitress, and I also own my own apartment building. So I own multiple Airbnbs.
Damn, she's doing a lot, and I don't want to come straight out and say she's lying, but on builtin.com, they say this. The average salary for a cloud engineer in Washington, D.C. is $106,000. The average additional cash compensation for a cloud engineer in Washington, D.C. is $36,000. The average total compensation for a cloud engineer in Washington, D.C. is $143,000. Now, I'm not saying that someone can't work more than one job, but I find it strange that she has a job that's paying upwards of $100K and does waitressing on the side, all the while has enough money to buy apartments and have multiple Airbnbs. It just doesn't make sense to me as to why she'd spend time waitressing when her other 2 avenues of income have so much room for growth if she dedicated more time to them. But maybe I'm missing something.
You own most, and what else you said? You own Wendy's too?
I own my own apartment building.
Oh, okay. And you waitress.
Yeah.
So 3 jobs. You work in tech. You say you do cloud what?
I'm a cloud engineer.
Engineer. Okay. Okay. Alexis, DC 28. You have any kids?
Nope.
No kids. What's your zodiac sign?
Capricorn.
Capricorn. You ever been married?
Nope.
Okay, never married. Let's do it. We got Alexis, DC 28, no kids. She has 3 jobs, cloud engineer. She's a waitress, also owns her own apartment building. What kind of man you looking for? She's a Capricorn too. What kind of man you looking for, girl?
I want a man that's a provider. I I want a traditional man in a sense. So I want a man that pays the bills. I want a man that leads the household. If we're moving, we're moving. I just want a man's man.
This is wild to me. If I was a guy who earned the type of money she's looking for in a man, even though I could, there's no way I'd be paying all the bills when she's making upwards of $100,000 a year at minimum. It's not about the guy's ability to do so. It's the fact that while he's using up his resources to take care of the household, she's keeping whatever money she makes to herself. While I can't speak for every man, even though the providing thing comes naturally, I don't have the word sucker written on my forehead.
I also want somebody who likes to travel. I travel a lot, maybe 10 international countries a year. You don't have to travel as much, but just have an interest in traveling. I also want a man that's extremely honest. I mean, I feel like some people tell little white lies because they don't want to hurt your feelings or whatever the case may be. I'm very blunt, and I think I would want that kind of partner in return, someone who can be as transparent with me as I am with them. And I guess lastly, somebody romantic. I have not really had as much luck finding people who like to please. So I would like to find someone that's similar to what I can provide to somebody else.
Okay. What are your deal breakers?
Broke.
I guess I'm disqualified.
Uh,
I'm sorry.
I'm pretty open. I know you can't have it all. So I don't care if you're that tall. As long as you 5'5", 5'6" or taller. I don't care if you're fat, skinny, short. You can't have it all. Looks, I'm willing to settle on. I cannot settle on what you bring to the table financially, and I cannot settle on too many kids. I can't do more than 2, and your kids cannot be under 10. Um. Oh, and then anyone that's not ambitious. Like recently I matched with a doctor on a dating app, and I was just like, I said, what do you do? He's like, I'm a doctor. And he was just like, I was like, okay, so what's your goals? He was just like, oh no, I kind of blocked you because like, what do you mean what's my goals? Is a doctor not enough? I don't want somebody who's content with where they are. A doctor is being a doctor is amazing. I understand what you guys go through to get there, but why can't you want more?
Considering the fact that the average salary for a doctor in Washington, D.C. is between $169,000 and $300,000, how much more ambition is she looking for? Does he have to be a waiter on the side and host Airbnbs too? I feel like some of the things people are expecting from a relationship are ridiculous. And the very reason she's calling this show to begin with is because she's struggling to find her fantasy guy, which should tell you everything you need to know. I feel like if I saved the world from an interdimensional demon, she'd be like, nah, that's not enough. You need to be saving the multiverse.
I guess me having 3 jobs shows you that I'm never comfortable with being in one place.
Not being he need to run for the president. He'd already a surgeon, and that ain't enough for you.
I- it's not a money thing more, so I guess it's an ambition thing. Yeah.
Well, let's start a couple things. I mean, I cracked up when you said broke. I don't know, the way you said it was just funny. What is broke to you?
Uh Broke to me is living check to check. I try to live it where 10% of my income is spent on expenses and bills. If you out here 70% of your income goes towards your expenses, you're not somebody I want to talk to because you're living way beyond your means. I don't care if you're cheap. I don't care if you like, you know what, we can't go out this weekend because I need to save up some money. I need somebody that's fiscally responsible. Broke is broke. Like, you can't afford your car note. I had a guy's car get repo from my house. No, I don't deal with those kind of people. Broke is broke.
Is there a dollar amount to broke for you?
Ideally, I want somebody that makes more than me, so at least 200 or more.
Okay. So 100K to you would be not enough.
No. Mm-mm.
No. Okay. So 200K or more.
Well, she's right in that you shouldn't be spending beyond your means. And it's something people still do to this day. And a lot of the time, it's so they can keep up appearances. In any case, she's looking for a man who makes at least $200,000 a year, which is going to be a tough find. I mean, if it was easy, she wouldn't be on this show. As far as I can tell, roughly 4% of men in the US are making that sort of money. So not only would she have to meet one of these guys, she'd have to like him, he'd have to like her, and they'd have to be able to have a functioning relationship, which is easier said than done.
Ooh, child. Okay. So we got there early. Should he look a certain way?
No, I told you, physically, I don't really care. It looks fade. So, in 20, 30, 40 years, you're not going to look the way you did when I met you. So why do I care if you Denzel Washington? I'm okay. As long as you don't have too many tattoos on your face, we all good to go.
Even though looks matter less to women than men, she's straight up talking shit because looks do matter, and they'll play a role in determining if she likes a guy or not.
Now, when was your last relationship, Alexis?
11 years ago.
11? You've been single for 11 years?
You know how people go relationship to relationship to relationship?
So, if she's 28 now, that means her last relationship was when she was 17, maybe 18, depending on how close she is to being 29. Forgive me, but I have a hard time judging any relationship at that age being something real.
I kind of feel like that's what dating should be for. Like when I meet people and they be like, well, why are you and your ex break up? Well, it just didn't
that
work
wouldn't
out.
be
We weren't
11.
a
If
good
you go
fit.
relationship to relationship, that means the last one wouldn't have been 11
No,
years
no,
ago.
no, no. I'm speaking on other people, what they do.
Okay.
This is why I don't do it. I think dating should be the time when you're getting to know somebody. You're trying to figure out the red flags. If you're willing to accept those red flags, if you're willing to accept every part of them. When I get in the next relationship, I want it to be somebody I'm willing to marry. And I don't see why that needs to be rushed. So,
Okay, I have a question. In those 11 years, are you having sex?
yes, I've dated people exclusively. I just haven't gotten to the point where I wanted to make them my boyfriend.
If you're dating someone exclusively, doesn't that mean you're in a relationship? Unless she was the only one being exclusive in those situations. What the hell is going on here?
Okay, so dating exclusively means neither one of you guys date other people.
Correct.
So help me understand. Maybe I'm ignorant. Why would that not be a relationship if you're both just seeing each other?
I
Exactly.
can still text other people. I just choose not. I can still go on a dates with other people. I just choose not to. And sometimes depends on who I'm dating. Some people I'll still date other people. Go out for a few dates. I'm just not actively sleeping with anyone else because I prefer to sleep with one person at a time.
Okay.
So I guess that's the difference. I don't answer to anybody.
Okay.
If
And
I
I'm
want to meet somebody, get their number, I can. I'm still single,
okay. And
and
I'm
you can
assuming.
too.
Then it's not exclusive. Why do people have to make this shit so hard?
Okay. So my assumption is because I know you have a high salary request. Do all these men meet your 200K requirement?
Yes. It's
Okay.
pretty normal though in DC. DC incomes are higher, and I'm in tech, so everyone in my field pretty much makes at least 150 or higher.
Well, that is a fair point. So maybe it'd be easier for her to meet one of these guys than I thought. But if that's the case, why hasn't it happened yet? And why is she calling into this show for help?
This is true. Now I want to ask this question. But you also said that these dating experiences never grew to a committed relationship. Why not?
I think because I feel like the dating pool has a little bit of pee in it, and I feel like sometimes people like to ignore red flags, and I've ignored a few. I'll get with somebody and sexually it's not cutting it for me, and I'll keep dating them knowing I wouldn't marry this person, or it'll be something where fin- I've dated people who were financially not on the same page as me, trying to help them. So I've helped them get new jobs, I'll do resumes, help them do interviews, and then I realized that some people just aren't meant to make a lot of money. I help them get these jobs, and then all of a sudden they start acting funny. I just feel like you have to be aligned, and I haven't really felt anybody that was I haven't really met anyone that I was on the same page with. But I'm patient, so I've just been traveling and doing me. I'm not hurt, but I guess that's the reason why it's so easy for me to do the non-committed thing, because I would be a little bit more offended if these are my boyfriends. These not my boyfriends. They are people I enjoy for the season, and I'm moving on.
So you have to wonder, how many of these situationships has she had over the years, and how much trauma has she accumulated during that time? While she makes it seem like she was just hooking up with guys and moving on, throughout my entire life, I've never seen situationships run that smoothly. Someone always develops feelings and gets strung up on the other person, even after what they had going on comes to an end.
Now let me ask you this because there's some women who enjoy dating the way you date, don't necessarily really have a goal of marriage or a committed relationship with one person. Do you feel as though is that your goal? Like, do you want to be married? I mean, it's not a bad thing if you don't, but I'm just curious because it seems like you rather just continue to date instead of locking in with one person.
No, I would like to lock in one person. I just don't want to settle. I'm not gonna like I've met amazing men who just didn't meet my income requirements. I got too many goals I have for myself to be with somebody that I have to build up, or who just comfortable being where they are. I want something serious, but I don't want to settle. Like,
So settling to you is being in a committed relationship with a man that makes less than 200K.
settling for me is being with somebody that put their hands on you, being someone that lies to you, being someone who has too many kids, being with anybody who isn't on the same page as you. And that's just not for me. That's for men too. I'm not asking you to settle. Like, I've had men not be interested because I wear makeup or I wear wigs. Everybody has their own preference. Settling for me is just not, you're not meeting my non-negotiables. You're not doing what your career isn't where it needs to be, or you got too many kids, or you lie too much, or you don't want to travel. The last guy I dated long term didn't want to travel internationally at all. Vacation to him is like going to Florida. And I like to go around the world. I don't think there's nothing wrong with wanting somebody who wants to travel too. It's small things. And those small things usually is what it
That's
disconnects.
not okay. Hold on, let me jump in. These are not small things. I think this is where it's not a small thing, honey. And also, I'm not God. I'm gonna start off before I start. Let me say I'm not God. So I can never say absolute anything. But you do have to understand the man that you're describing is a 1% man that can make the salary requirement, could afford to travel around this world, could give you great sex. I think you had a kid requirement.
No more than
You,
two children.
okay, no more. You did now. You don't have a really an attraction requirement. So that's a grace area. So he can have the income and not the money, but he still got to have good sex. So I'm gonna assume that whatever. We'll leave it there.
While it's completely up to her how she wants to live her life and who she chooses as a partner, there's something to be said about looking for the type of man who may not be looking for you. With every year that goes by, it'll get harder and harder for her to find someone. So at what point does she start taking things off her requirement list? I buy all sorts of gadgets, and one thing that I love is a huge TV. But you know what? That shit gets old pretty fast when you have no one to watch it with, which is the path I think she'll find herself going down if she's too picky about the kind of person she wishes to build a life with.
I
But
can settle on that too. I'm be
it,
honest, in today's generation, I can
or you
settle
can
with
settle
that
on
too.
the sex.
I can settle with that too.
Okay, so you're willing to settle in the area. So really for you, so now let's just go to the commitment. So you just want this man that makes this requirement to be exclusively committed to you as well, correct?
Yes. And
Okay.
someone thoughtful, someone caring.
Okay. And although you've dated these men, you just never been in a committed relationship with one.
Correct.
So just hypothetical. Let's just say your experience will always just be dating. Like you get these men who meet your wonderful requirements that you can date for a period of time. And then after a while, you learn for whatever reason it's not going to grow to the committed relationship. And then you go on to the next man that meets all those requirements. Are you fine with that, or being or does having a husband and having a family, is that
Having
important
a
to you?
having a family is important to me.
Okay.
So ideally, that's why I'm pretty focused. I don't really waste my time on people that I feel like it won't be long term. I'm quick to cut somebody off because I don't want to waste your time and I don't want to waste my time. So I know what I want. So I won't even let it get to the first date if we're not on the same page. I don't need to waste your money, waste your time. So
Right.
that's how I
I
look at it.
think I think women that because you say you date these men, so I'm gonna put you in this category. Women who get to date men who make high salaries, it's like a gift and a curse. Because, like, I'll give an example. I met this young lady. I mean, gorgeous. She was freaking gorgeous. And when I was in Atlanta at iFest, there was a private dinner, and she was talking to me. She's like, "I want to be in a relationship." She was 26. I mean, she was drop dead gorgeous. And she was saying she was currently dating a guy in France, and he flies her to France once a month. And I'm like, girlfriend, it is going to be so hard for a regular guy to date you because you're used to people flying you to France,
I don't.
once a month. That's going to be crazy for a guy to say, I'm going to take you out to dinner. You're like, where? In
I
Africa?
will say I don't compare men to other men, just the same way I don't want to be compared to other women. I think it's unfair and nobody can ever close that gap.
While I don't want to say that all women do this, I've got to be honest. I've seen a lot of girls in my life compare the guys they've dated in the past to whoever it is they're with now. Have I seen guys do this too? Sure, but I've never seen a woman imprint on a man the way I've seen a man imprint on a woman. But maybe you guys have had a different experience. Let me know in the comments.
Do you compare it? But I'm talking about experience, not necessarily the men. So can you
No.
still be can you still be wowed by the experience? Because if you have this major experience from this man, it might not be the man, but if this man was able to give you a certain amount of experience, now it was dating, wasn't necessarily a relationship. Would it be settling for you for a man that can offer you the relationship, but maybe financially can't do the things that the guy that had the money could? Would that be settling to you?
No. I kind of, I come from humble beginnings. So if I met a man who was clear at 200,000, no extra, no, he can't go internationally as much as I do, then I will compromise. I think that's my biggest, I guess, positive, that I'm willing to compromise. If I need to move, if we can't go on a date this week because he needs to save or he needs to work, I'm willing to adjust. I feel like in today's dating world, when there are beautiful women everywhere, I don't compare myself to other people because you can't. Just like there are many attractive women, a lot of women built like me. So I try to just adjust and go with the flow. I just need a man that's willing to communicate and let me know when I need to make adjustments.
I wonder how she'd feel about the guy who's earning all that money sleeping with other women. While not everyone with money will step out on their partner, it's a common thing when you're dealing with men who have reached these levels of financial success, which is an aspect people tend to ignore when they want guys of this caliber. I mean, if you have a guy who's in a committed relationship, but every night, this girl knocks on his door, telling him that he can do whatever he wants to her, how long would it be before he throws in the towel? While a lot of people, including myself, would say, I'd never give in, the reality of the situation may be very different. It's very easy to be virtuous in a hypothetical. But yeah, I'm going to end things there as the conversation kind of trails off after that. But if you want to see the full clip, the link will be in the description. And if you enjoyed this video, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe. It really helps me out a lot. And if you want to share your own thoughts, jump into the comments section and I'll see you down there.